Happy Tuesday, ARK players, and welcome back to a brand new video where we are going to be talking about something that I've seen a lot of the ARK community complaining about, worrying about, and I just need to pretty much do a video breaking down why this isn't a problem and why this happens. And it's been something that never used to really happen that much on ASE. It obviously happens on every single game. But obviously it's been seen a lot more in the world of ARK Survival Ascended. But if you guys do enjoy today's video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe as it seriously supports me. And let's dive in to the world of ARK. Okay, so you're probably wondering what am I talking about, and yes, we're talking about ARK's player count. And we haven't done a video on this in about 6+ months. The last time we did this, it might have actually been 5 because I think we did it for Extinction. But pretty much a lot of players have been saying that ARK Survival Ascended is dying a very slow death. And the thing is, I hear this probably, I hear this every single year, every 6 months of the year that people say this, and I agree with you. There is so many things that have been wrong with this ARK Survival Ascended launch, hence to the massive drop off of players. But there's a reason behind this, and also Studio Wildcard follow a pattern of where they know the state of the game is currently in at the moment, and that's what I'm going to explain now. Let's dive into the stats. Now, before we actually go in and talk about this, I don't want everyone to think, oh, Dom's just showing so much love to Studio Wildcard again, saying that there's nothing wrong with the game, because it is an unoptimized mess at the moment, and that is clearly another reason why so many more players are playing the old game, are playing other games at the moment, but that is just the position we're in right now. A lot of players are waiting for optimization updates, such as the Unreal Engine 5.5 update, and also, as said by Studio Wildcard themselves, that a lot of players come back to ARK Survival Ascended for a map launch, and they play it for a short space of time, and then they just leave the game again once they've had their fun with it. And that is the current state right now with ARK Survival Ascended. Yes, this never used to happen with ARK Survival Evolved, and the fact is that people play the new map for a certain amount of the time and the new content, they get sick of the unoptimized game and crashing and losing things, and also the PvP side of the game isn't as popular, so you haven't got a hold over players like you did with the old game. So if we now dive down into the most played games, and as we scroll down, by the way, this is quite a quiet point of Steam charts when I'm recording this. I'm recording this at 1 PM UK time, and that tends to be when not many games are, it's not the most popular time. But ARK Survival Evolved seems to be has stabled around basically 30 to 40,000 players for the last few months, and I don't know how this game could ever die. I think the only way this game could completely die is if ARK Survival Ascended ended up getting all of the maps added, it was better optimized, which is meant to be coming soon, and we're moving forward with all of the new DLCs and people have the same options as they had before. But because they don't have the same options and they're still missing so many maps on ARK Survival Ascended, so many players are still just going back to the old game. So as we scroll down, what you will see right here is ARK Survival Ascended is currently 94th with only 13,000 players and 17,000 at a peak. Now, this is just the way it is at the moment. The reviews are still mixed for ARK Survival Ascended as well, and it's because it's just the content releases are extremely slow on this game. And if you think about it, it's May 6th, 2025. And if you look at 2025 as a whole, and and if you're a player that's getting excited and looking forward to what's coming up next for the game, you think to yourself, there's been one map drop and 2 small events added to the game throughout the whole of 2025. We're nearly 6 months in, and this is exactly what happened in 2024 again, where ARK Survival Ascended just completely started to drop off half its player base, because at some point when Extinction and Asterisk was out, this game was having around about 25 to 35,000 concurrent players on Steam. So because players are waiting for the next big drop, they just think to themselves, I'm going to go and play something else. And that's just a serious fact. And to be honest, I am getting bored of how the game is having these ups and down cycles. I completely understand why it's happening, like I've explained, but it would be nice if we can look forward to the later part of 2025 where they actually hit their targets with the next few things. We have to think to ourselves what we got. We got Unreal Engine 5.5 and Ragnarok in the space of 27 days, which they need to hit those dates. We're meant to be getting Valguero in August, and we're meant to be getting Lost Colony in November. So there's still some big content coming out for this game. But the reason why the player count is just so diminishing at the moment is because they're leaving players with nothing new and nothing exciting for such a long time. Yeah, the mods are great, but obviously they're premium mods as well, so players have to actually part way with their cash to be able to try a premium mod, so you're really only going to get the hardcore ARK players that are going to be buying those. And then if we now look at the changes from, let's go back to the December time. So Extinction, this is when Extinction launched, right? Look, they had 16,000 players just before Extinction launched. So it wasn't actually as low as we currently have hit. So Extinction, I want to see the full year, but let's do 6 months for now. So, and then Extinction came out and they went from 16,000 players up to 38,000 players on the 22nd of December. And obviously it's over like the Christmas break, so players have got more time to play. Obviously, they still had 33,000 on Christmas Day. And then there was a point on the Sunday, the 29th of December, where they had 41,000 players, the biggest ARK has seen in such a long time. And it was really enjoyable to see. And by the way, this isn't counting in the numbers from the console. So Extinction had its issues. Some people went into January still playing it. Obviously the Sundays is where most people play the game because, that's when most people do tend to play games. And we kind of went through January. It was still just, everyone was kind of enjoying Extinction up and down, some slow days. And then Asterisk came out. And as you can see, we had a peak again of 37,000 players. So there does seem to be like a solid base when these certain maps come out where we do sort of hit that 37 to 40,000 player count. Now ever since then, the game has kind of been hitting ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs, and then we've kind of just seen a gradual decline over the next couple of months after that, because there just hasn't really been much going on. And here we are currently at the 5th or 6th with 14,771. So that's just the way the game is currently happening at the moment. It just peaks at launches, and to be honest, I'm slightly bored of it being like that. As you can see as well, if I go over here, this is when we actually started to see some growth in the game as well. Because look at this. This was the craziest. Well, it's similar to the position we are right now. This was the spike from before Aberration came out, where we were currently sat with 13,000 players as well. That was a rough point of ARK, that was. This little point here, that's when the center came out and they had 30,000 players. And there was just nothing all the way until the 4th of September. And then Aberration came out and it went to 35,000. So it's clear with Ragnarok, the game is going to grow and it is going to thrive with Ragnarok. But we also need it needs the optimizations to be able to keep people on the game, because ARK has become that kind of game now that people come and dive into like a map for 1 to 2 months, and then when there's no content, it just goes shoo boom. Now again, just remember, this was just this isn't involving console numbers. Console numbers are way higher than PC numbers. Like, it's on a crazy scale. I think so remember I made my video the other day, if you saw it, I said in 2023 there was 400,000 concurrent players across all platforms, and then in 2024 it dropped to 213,000, so there was pretty much a 50% drop in players. But if we go to launch, so the launch was 98,000 players that tried the new ARK. And then, as you can see, we knew how this was happening. As the months were going on, the players dropped and halved and was sliced and diced and and then all to a point where, you know, by the time we got to February of 2024, there was like literally they'd lost like 70,000 people playing the game. And then was the first spike with the first map, which was Scorched Earth, which at Scorched Earth, nothing's beaten Scorched Earth yet. There was 44,000 players for Scorched Earth, but I think that was everyone who's purchased a game that was like, I want to at least understand why I bought this game. And then obviously these are just the spikes throughout the year. So we are currently sitting in these real tough, you know, where was it? Well, there was that 13,000 point. I can't actually remember what point it was at, but we're at that stage again before maps are coming out. We're a couple of weeks away from the launch of Ragnarok. We've got Unreal Engine. It's seriously important that Studio Wildcard get on time with these DLCs, and I am bored. I agree as well with making these videos, but unfortunately they become such big topics because people are saying to me, you know, official servers are dead, and you know, and that's why so many people are playing unofficial. But I'm telling you, it's no need to be worried about it. It's just a trend. It's the way things happen, and I'm telling you, there's going to be a serious spike for Ragnarok. I really don't like doing this to myself, but I know many players, you know, always are interested in how it works. There's no point looking at the recent stats of ARK Survival Evolved because, you know, this is literally like it lives like this constantly, just like the most solid player base going on. And to think the all-time peak was actually only 2.9 years ago when Genesis Part 2 came out. But if we actually go and see the max of, I hate doing this to myself because it shows you like, it's showing you the 3 weeks. I hate seeing how, so the game launched on June 2015 with 80,000 players. So it had an insane launch, and it just kept the whole time 50. And then look, this is when the DLCs used to launch, 100,000 players. Then it would go a little bit slow again, and then there'd be a release, and then there'd be a drop. I don't think it ever, look, it had 49,000 players there, but then 106,000 for the launch of Extinction. Then it dropped a bit. Then another launch, 83,000. Then a massive launch of Genesis Part 1 with 157,000 players. And then 3 weekends, just a random February in 2021, there was 98,000 players. And then another launch, 147,000 players. And then we had the launch of Genesis Part 2, and there was 248,000 players. Why does it feel like that didn't even happen? I feel like it's because I never really used to cover these stats because it never used to be that much of a topic. And then obviously afterwards there was a drop, but still the game, on the day of the game's death, there was still 61,000 players. Actually, look, on the last day, to say goodbye to ARK, there was 76,000 concurrent players. And then, unfortunately, the game got sunset, and the servers got sunset, and it's all history from there. But even still, they're keeping a 30,000 to 40,000 peak on this game, which is insane. Look at this, Sunday the 12th of January 2025, there was 43,000 people playing ARK Survival Evolved. There needs to be something done. We, you know, again, nothing to worry about in the sense but what I'm talking about when there needs to be something done is there needs to be some point of like stability put into the new version. And I know it's going to take time, and I know that is just the part of, you know, when a remaster isn't a proper remaster. And unfortunately, if the game was a proper remaster compared to the old version, then it would have, you know, if it had all the content, then it would be thriving. But well, I guess it's kind of unoptimized. But that's pretty much all I'm going to say on it is, you know, wait for the launch of Ragnarok. The player count, I do think Ascended will potentially smash the 50,000 mark, which will be nice. But then it's all about how does that stay through, like, you know, June is the launch of Ragnarok. So then it's July, August. Are we still going to get Valguero on time? Because if it's 2 months between those two, then the game might do quite well. And then it's Lost Colony in November. So, anyway, that's enough talking from me. Thank you for watching. Leave a like and subscribe. And I'll talk to you guys in my next video. And also, guys, come and join the LC Loaded channel if you want to see more kind of like GTA Schedule 1 type content. I've been loving making videos over there too.